If you want a beach day, the bells. It's not just in Europe they get me. You do tip, okay? Now, if you're going on guides, you're going on tours, you tip your guides, you tip your because they use the. Now, with the tipping, you might be. Let's just start. Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters. Today, we're here in Panama City, Panama. And today, what we have for you are the don'ts of visiting Panama City. And I'm going to tell you the first don't I have for you. And it's the number one don't that all the locals, all the expats that live here told me to tell everyone. Don't take the taxis. Look, the taxis here in Panama City have kind of a history of not being very helpful. Like sometimes you had to ask 6 or 7 taxis in order to get a ride. So when Uber came, people were elated because they knew they would get a ride. They knew they were going to get taken for a ride. So make sure when you're coming here, have Uber downloaded on your phone and use it. Whether you're going from the airport into town, you're coming here to Casco Viejo, the old town. You want to go to Playa Bonita and go hit the beaches for a little day at the beach. Do Uber. You can do that, arrange it. It's totally fine. But that is one of those things that literally every single person said, don't do with the taxi. And you'll notice the taxis really want to work with you because now they honk at you. Hey, you need a ride? You need a ride? It is a lot better now. So if you don't have Uber, you don't have that, you can't take the taxis. But just know, all the locals, first thing they said, Uber all the time. Don't do the taxis. And oh, if you notice over here, I will say this, don't freak out about all the high rises. Yes, literally, there are more high rises here in Panama City than there are in Miami, all right? Also, in terms of tall buildings, over half of the top 10 tallest buildings in Latin America are here in Panama City, right there. So go check out some of the views, go to some of the restaurants over there. And honestly, if you're looking for a cheaper place to eat, more like local kind of hangout places and cheaper places to stay, over in the high rise, which you might want to look at. But you want to be here in Casco Viejo, the old town, right? So let's talk about that. And when it comes to the high rises, my favorite one is the corkscrew building right there. That's my favorite. Now, don't think it's just those big high rises you see in the skyline. What you'll really see when you look at tourism for coming here to Panama City is Casco Viejo. And you don't want to pass up Casco Viejo. That is the old town. You have the beautiful, beautiful cathedral when you're here. You definitely have to go in there to check that out. When you go around, there's tons of museums. The one I'd recommend the most right here is the Canal Museum, and that is the Panama Canal Museum. But it's not just about the canal. It's a lot of the history of Panama as well as there. And there's a ton of museums down here in Casco Viejo. So you want to explore. I'd recommend staying down here for the historic charm of it. It is a bit pricier. Don't think Casco Viejo is cheap. It is not. And I'll talk about the not very cheapness of this place later. But coming down here, the squares that are here, the restaurants, the shops, this is a beautiful place to be. I'm here on Plaza de Independencia, super nice place to be. And the thing is, you want to come here, you want to explore here. If you're coming on a day trip or an excursion from your cruise, you have a lot of options. And I'll talk about the day trips here in a little bit. But I'll be honest with you, if you just go in and see Casco Viejo, you'll enjoy it with the architectures there, the shops, the food, lots of stuff you can do when you're here. So don't miss out on that. But the thing is, museums, cathedral are a must. But there's not just this cathedral. I don't want to tell you, don't think the cathedral is the only church in Casco Viejo. There's a lot of beautiful churches you can visit when you are here. So do go in, check out the altars. They are beautiful. But also don't forget, there's actually some church ruins you can see as well to see kind of like the husk of the old church, which is kind of neat to see. So don't think it's just the cathedral. Go and explore more. Another museum I recommend when you're here in Casco Viejo, aside from the Canal Museum, is the Museum de la Mola. If you're not sure what the molas are, that is when you see the black fabric and it has like neon things like embroidered into it, that is what the molas are. That is a very traditional thing from here in Panama. Also a great souvenir to grab when you are here in Panama City. And the thing is, if you want to see some of the really great, examples of it, going to the Museo de la Mola is well worth it. So don't pass it out. This is one I highly recommend. Even the locals will tell you, you should check this one out. And there's other museums around town too. You can see if you want to see like what it used to be like hundreds of years ago here in Panama. You can see that. There's museums that do that for you. There's all kinds of great stuff. These are the molas. The fabric, the embroidered work here, it really gives a good story of how they make it, the history of it, how important it is. So it is a cool museum to go into. And it's right in Casco Viejo, like behind the cathedral, really. Really cool to check out, so don't miss it. One thing I want to tell you, don't expect to get around Casco Viejo quickly if you have a car, because it is always like this with cars everywhere, backed up, so do be aware of that. So we're going to explore more of the city, maybe walk out by the Mercado and actually take the metro to go explore, or a bus or anything, because waiting for your Uber, getting it does take a little bit more time with this, because this is an everyday kind of thing. Now, another donut I want to tell you, when you are in Casco Viejo, don't forget to look inside the hotels and on top of the hotels for restaurants and rooftop bars, because there's tons of rooftop restaurants and bars you can go visit with great views. And honestly, don't miss the views when you come here. There's some pretty gorgeous views when you do come here, though I'm showing you the Amador Causeway, which isn't that much beautiful of a view. But I will tell you, the Biomuseo, if you want to go there, that's a nice way to learn about the ecological history of Panama, which is really cool. But the Amador Causeway, a bunch of restaurants over there you can check out as well. If you're staying in Casco Viejo, hit up one of those restaurant rooftop bars and stuff. It's a really good time when you are there. Oh, and regardless if you're in Casco Viejo or if you're over the high rises over there or the causeway, I do have one little thing I got to mention to you. Don't think you're going to be flushing your toilet paper down the toilet all the time, because it doesn't go down everywhere, okay? So make sure if there's a bin next to the toilet, that's where your wiping toilet paper goes in, all right? So just be aware of that. I know some people find that really, really gross, but that is just a fact of life here in Panama in general, especially if you're going to be going on some of the excursions. You're going to go be out exploring the country. Toilet paper goes in the bin, not the toilet. So don't forget that, because you do not want that coming back up. Oh, no, 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 no. So if you're wondering why I'm here in a bathroom holding my toothbrush, well, another tip I have to you is don't worry about the water when you're here in Panama City. You can brush your teeth with it. You can drink the tap water. It's okay. They have water treatment here. They do a nice job with it. Now, if you go to like day trips into the rural areas of Panama and maybe do bottled water there, but here in Panama City, you don't have to worry about the water. So go brush your teeth. Now, I know Casco Viejo is gorgeous, but I want to tell you, don't pass up the day trips when you do come here to Panama City, because there's so many options you can do. If you want to go to Gatun Lake, the lake that's part of the canal, you can take a boat ride down there and go to the Monkey Island, see the monkeys and the sloths that are here. If you want to hike in the rainforest, you can do a tour which will take you into the rainforest. You can take literally a funicular up into the rainforest and hike around there. Or maybe you don't want to go too far. You can go to the Municipal Natural Park and have beautiful views of the city with great hikes. Let's say you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to have more beach time kind of stuff. You do have that option. You can take a catamaran or the ferry out to Tobaga Island. You can go enjoy the beaches there. You can go to Playa Bonita if you want to go to a resort. And there's resorts out there that give you little day passes you can go to. But probably the most famous day trip people do going from here is doing a day trip to San Blas Islands, which is on the Caribbean coast. And it's about if you're lucky, it's 2.5, 3 hour drive. If you're unlucky, like here at Carnival, it could be a 5-hour drive to get over there, because you take that over, then you take a boat out to the San Blas Islands. And if you haven't been there, it's on the Caribbean coast. Beautiful white sand, crystal clear blue water, great for snorkeling, very limited infrastructure there. So like no Wi-Fi, but you're really going for there to really enjoy the nature when you're there and see the Guna people. I mean, it's really beautiful thing. But I will tell you, don't think it's going to be a fun ride when you do that, because one, the day trips, you're just going to do the day trip over to the San Blas Islands. A lot of those tours start at like 5 in the morning, 5:45 in the morning, because you got that long ride. And then you're on the island for a few hours and you get that long ride back. And I'll tell you, there's more than a few turns that make your stomach turn. So be aware of that. And also, if you do any of these trips, there are so many great day trips you can do from here in Panama City. I'm actually going to the monkeys and sloths and so you know those things. But I will tell you, don't forget to read up on what you need to bring with you when you go on these day trips, because not all provide everything. So it might be like, I'm on the monkey and sloth trip. We'd go on a boat ride to see Monkey Island. You still have to have an extra $20 per person to pay for your boat ride, not necessarily included in the tour. Also, if they're telling you, make sure you're bringing a swim trunk, make sure you're bringing sunblocks, towel, because you know what? You might go to San Blas Islands, they might not have a towel for you. So be ready for those day trips, be ready to have those things, but read through your tour. I mean, just like you would any other time, do that. Also, because of how the rain is here, traffic can be, always check your spam email as well, because if there's going to be a change, they might write you, it might not come through. So make sure to give them your phone number, email, and check that the night before, just in case, especially if they don't show up at your hotel. So kind of a smart thing to do, not just here, but anywhere. But yeah, because you don't want to do some of these hikes without some of the accoutrement they recommend you bring. Also, with those day trips, don't expect the day trips to vary very much depending on what tour group you're going with. because they all kind of do the same kind of things. So you go from Panama City, some actually might combine different tour companies into the same tour. So if you're going on the Monkey and Slaw tour, know that no matter which one you do is going to be pretty similar. If you're going to the San Blas Islands, your basic variety is if you're going to drive or if you're going to fly there. So just be aware of that, because in general, probably go with the one that's recommended by your hotel, just so they know they have the connection people. You're going to get in contact with them, you'll be okay. But if you don't want to do it that way and you want to book beforehand, that's actually kind of a good idea, because some of these things, especially during high season, do book out. So make sure you check that beforehand, just in case. And no matter which tour you go on, any of those kind of things, I would say this, make sure you have cash when you go around these things, because when you have to pay the extras, you have to do other things, tipping people, it's good to have the cash with you, because some of these tours, you're not going to have an opportunity to hit an ATM when you're there, all right? Also, don't forget to bring some tissues with you in case you need to use the toilet. So don't you need to know, which I think you're not gonna like, is don't expect Panama City to be that cheap Central America destination. Look, Panama in general, it's not Nicaragua, it's not Guatemala. Panama is one of the more expensive places you can go to in Central America. And I'm gonna tell you, Panama City is probably the most expensive city you can visit in Central America. Now, I'm not saying it's insanely expensive. I'm just saying you need to be ready, because if you're expecting those Nika prices, you're not going to get them. So if you're going to be staying, especially here in Casco Viejo, the old town, hotels are going to be pricier. Restaurants, $25 for ceviche. It can happen. So be ready for a bit pricier stay when you're in Panama City. Now, if you stay outside of Casco Viejo, you're by the high rises, you get better prices and stuff, but just be aware of that, because yeah, some tourists coming to think that it's going to be, oh, super cheap Central America. Yeah, it's not. Okay, be ready for that. And with those high prices, maybe you expect like really good service. Well, I got to tell you this, don't expect stellar quick service when you do come to Panama City. You need to be a bit more proactive in your ordering and getting your fill than you do in other places. So do be aware of that. So if you're going out to eat, do realize it'll take some time to get your menu. It'll take some time for them to take your drink order, to bring you your drinks, to get your food. And I've seen a number of tourists get a little upset about that in various restaurants around Panama City. Look, here things just take a little bit more time. Remember, it's Central America time. You just gotta have a little more calm kind of things. You'll be okay. But just know, if you're expecting quick, fast, like let's go, that happens in the Panama Canal. When you're around the city, it's more chillaxed, and I've seen tourists get a little upset. Also, I found that here in Panama City, you get less of the helpful locals than you do in other parts of Panama, so do be aware of that. But it's, the typical big city kind of thing. And even though I said that the service isn't that good, you didn't know about tipping. Also, no, when you're in Panama City and anywhere in Panama, you do tip. So tip your guides, tip your drivers, you have that. But also when you go to restaurants, you tip 10% minimum. That's like the thing. Now in Panama City, it's nice as they'll literally give you it 10, 15, or 20% so you know what to pay, because it all gets put together. So there's that, but make sure you look, because sometimes tipping isn't there or might already be included. So just take a look and make sure you got your 10% tip there, all right? So just know that, okay? Panama is a tipping country. Now, a nice thing when you're coming here, if you're coming from the U.S., is you don't have to exchange money. Look, here in Panama, they use the U.S. dollar. Now, you might see, oh, wait, I thought they used the Balboa. They do, but the only time you see Balboas are in coin form. So, and keep those for the Metro. I'll talk about that later. But honestly, you can use U.S. dollars, so bring money when you're here. Don't forget to have small bills. So if you're going to buy small little things for the change things, it makes life a little bit easier, but you don't have to exchange money, which is very nice. So avoid those ATM fees, and there are plenty of ATMs here. Don't worry about that. But make sure you bring your U.S. dollars with you, so you already have it taken care of, which is cool. Now, moving to another topic, let's talk about how you dress when you come here. I got to tell you, don't think you're going to get away from the heat, humidity, and bugs when you're here in Panama City, because look, Panama is famous for the heat and humidity. It's famous for the mosquitoes and the little no-see-ums kind of things. You're not going to get away from it, so don't forget to bring good sunblock, have the bug spray, have the bug wipes, and if you have them, make sure you have the afterbite, because they'll still get you. Whether you go into the canal, whether you're in the city, it's going to be one of those things, so don't think you're going to get away from that. Prepare for that. Have your hat. I have mine in my bag. But another thing I think is important to talk about when we're talking about clothing here is, don't forget, you don't wear your beach clothes into town, but remember, this isn't a beach city, so it's not a big deal. But I would say this, don't dress like a slob in Panama City. When you go around, as people are dressed a little bit nicer, I would say like 20% more color than your usual Latin America city. That would be the best way I kind of describe it. So do make sure you bring some collared shirts when you come, because, it does one of those things you'll notice when you're here. So when you're here in Panama City, don't forget you have to recharge recarga your pass here. So you go buy your pass, and they have these machines here. You click recarga, and then you choose you want monedas, you want to pay with coins, or billetes, which is bills. So you do one of those two. So you have that. Very simple, very cheap. Takes you like a lot of places you might want to go when you're here. If you're going to Casco Viejo, so Cinco de Mayo is the closest metro stop. It's about maybe a mile, kilometer and a bit, maybe from the like Blas de Benvencia, but just very easy to use. Works all over. Easy recharge. Don't forget them. Also, don't think you have to get cards for everybody. You can have one card, which will charge each time you want to use it for each person. So I have one card, so it works for both me and Liam. So don't worry about getting too many, just one. Recharge it and go. So another don't I have for you, if you notice Liam over there, he's on a very high curb. Don't think all the curbs are the same height. I mean, it can be a big drop off, and when you walk around, it is not, handicap accessible. So do be aware of that, because there's a lot of uneven pavement here. And I've seen a few tourists bite it while we've been here. So be careful with that. Now, another drawing I want to talk about is one that doesn't happen often, but when it happens, you'll know about it, and that's the national strikes. And I want to tell you, don't worry too much about getting to the airport when there's one of those national strikes, because usually what happens with the national strikes, they actually close down the Pan American Highway, and that is not going from here in Casco Viejo or the high rises out to the airport, okay? So you'll be okay. But I know some people get really scared because sometimes they close down the Pan American for a long, long time. So you might be worried to get to the airport, but don't worry about that. You'll be okay. And I think what'll make you feel a little bit better about that is don't forget to brush up on your Spanish before you go to Panama City. Yes, lots of tourists come here. This is one of the more English spoken places in Central America, but it never hurts to know some of the Spanish when you come here, because buenos dias, like good day when you go into a store, gracias, which is thank you, goes a long way when you're here, because the people appreciate it. They don't want rude tourists being like straight into English, but don't worry if you don't speak Spanish. You do come here, because the menus, look, wherever you're going to go, most of the menus will have English versions on it as well, and not a separate menu. It literally is just a menu in Spanish and has the English underneath. So check that out so you can have some of the local food when you're here. The thing I will tell you though, don't expect to have a lot of local Panamanian restaurants. You'll notice when you're over in the high rises, you'll see a lot of international food, Chinese food, Indian food, Italian food. You got to look for some of the Panamanian restaurants, so do be aware of that. But don't miss out on some of the treats when you are here, the Panamanian treats you want to have. Lots of little things, empanadas, little fried dough stuff you can have, which is really good. But also pago frito, which is the fried red snapper, is really good. Ropa vieja, which is basically shredded beef, is really good. Chicha, which is basically like, think about just juices made from like local fruits and stuff, or corn, is really good. So you have a lot of options when you're here. But if you do get a little tired of Panamanian food, if you've been here for a couple weeks, you probably will get tired of Panamanian food. You have a lot of other options as well. One other note I have for you when you are here in Panama City, don't expect people to stop for you when you cross the street. So don't be afraid when the cops are helping you cross the street. They're there to help you. So do be aware of that, because pedestrians do not have the right of way, or at least you'll notice they don't have the right of way regardless of what the law is. So heads up on that one. I will say, don't pass up coming to the Mercado de Mariscos, the seafood market. It's so cool to see all the fresh fish that's here. There's also restaurants you can eat at right by to have really super fresh ceviche and everything. So if you are here, just come check it out. It's fantastic. And if you're cooking here by yourself, you can pick up dinner here as well and cook it at home. But yeah, the Mercado de Mariscos is a must when you are here. Now, when you come to Panama, rain is going to come. So I want to tell you this. Don't think it doesn't rain in the dry season, because it does rain here. But I will say it is important to take care of when you are going to come, because the highest point of the rainy season is like in October. I don't really recommend coming then, because you're going to get rain a lot of times, most times during the day. But honestly, when you do come, even if you're here, like I'm here in the dry season, and you have a little downpour that'll pop up, have a little poncho with you. It's usually pretty quick and goes away. But yeah, don't think dry season means dry, no rain season, because it'll get you. If you're in Panama, don't ever doubt Panamanian pride, because you'll see those flags flying everywhere. And Liam's right. They're probably one of the coolest flags you can see in the Western Hemisphere.